games in the roguelike genre are built on three main pillars: engrossing gameplay, endless replayability, and a feeling that nothing is impossible. The genre has come a long way from its humbling beginnings with Beneath Apple Manor to games like Darkest Dungeon and Enter the Gungeon. The genre has seen many new entries and many new ideas. With every genre, though, comes the defining entry, such as Super Mario Odyssey, Halo Combat Evolved, and The Witcher 3. These games do something that put them a cut above the rest and are highly regarded by their peers, along with their developers.
Supergiant
are some of the best at their craft, having previously produced Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre. They have finally released their new masterpiece, simply titled Hades, a game that started life in early access but has now released in 2020. Hades masters the three main pillars of a roguelike, and it is one of not only the best games of 2020, but is hands down the best and most innovative way to take a single genre and make it all your own. Hades marries gameplay, storytelling, progression, music, and art style into something special that shouldn't be missed. Hades takes place in the land of Greek mythology, specifically the underworld. The game casts you as Prince Zagreus, son of Lord Hades. After learning a dark truth, your aim is to escape the underworld and fight your way to the surface. Greek mythology has always been a source of great storytelling. Gods fighting for dominance, like Kratos, ancient creatures like Medusa, and interesting characters like Hercules. Hades continues these great stories and characters by crafting an incredibly interesting narrative full of highs and lows. Along your way you will meet characters who will either help you on your journey or would rather send you back to the beginning. Characters in Hades remember reactions, fights, the weapons you use, interactions, gestures, conversations, and events. You can even give gifts to the characters to learn more about them. After every death, you will go back to the House of Hades. This is a luxurious environment filled with history and plenty of characters to talk to discuss revelations and failures with. This is the kind of story you would find in anything but a roguelike. When it comes to the story itself, Hades tells an incredibly interesting tale of loss, failure, and family, where even completing a single run won't finish the story, giving purpose to multiple runs in its levels. Your character Zagreus is a cocky hothead around his own father. His father is quick to anger, and is every pretentious asshole dad rolled into one.
So how did it go? How did you die ignobly this time, pray tell? Cerberus and I can't wait to hear the tale.
In that case, I'll spare you the details.
Fine. Your failure is quite easily imagined. How often it recurs. Almost as though my realm is built to keep you here. You and every single soul that's ever lived. But by all means, continue struggling.
But to everyone else, Zagreus is respectful and caring, and only sometimes cocky.
My word, the fiend again darkens these halls. Alas, Asterius, it seems I was mistaken and he hasn't learned his lesson after all.
And what's this lesson that I ought to have learned? Is it to always slay you first since you're so damn insufferable all the time?
Zagreus is a fascinating character who evolves over the course of the game, as secrets are revealed and truths are told, and the characters around you evolve as you talk to them. The characters are all unique, from Medusa's clean freak attitude, Meg's no funny business demeanour, and Achilles' caring and noble outlook. The combat in Hades is a goddamn triumph. Combat is deep and engrossing, with gameplay seeming simplistic, but incredibly addictive. It's fast and frenetic and brings me back to playing games like Doom Eternal, as you move from enemy to enemy, leaving carnage wherever you go. There are some minor issues like clipping into an object instead of flying right through, but they aren't so widespread to become an issue. There are plenty of weapons to use, such as the sword, for getting up close and personal, the spear for keeping enemies at a distance, and the shield that allows you to outlive your dreams of being Captain America, complete with that damn perfect ass. That's not America's ass anymore, people, that's Greece's ass. These weapons can be further modified to become even more powerful. Before every entry to the dungeon, you are offered a random boon from the gods of Olympus that can make every run feel different from the last. These could be from Zeus, who can offer a bit of thunder to your attacks, Dionysus, who can bring the booze, Poseidon, who can bring the power of the ocean. Each of these characters can offer some really interesting builds. What makes it more interesting though is finding unique ways to combine them. And by the end of your run, you feel like an actual god. And sometimes characters have interactions which allow duo abilities for that extra punch. Or they can give you a choice between one or the other. Choose one and you get a power up, but don't choose the other and they get pissed off. And you don't want a god who is pissed off, especially a Greek god. At the end of every dungeon is a boss. Some are more difficult than others, but they all offer some incredibly fun encounters. In most roguelikes, the idea of a run is central to the gameplay, where nothing is set in stone. But Hades does something different, not only tying story to the runs, but also offering a deep progression system through the mirror and building through the contractor. The contractor can allow you to construct fountains that offer a health boost, or more challenging encounters. He can even customize the House of Hades with furnishings that can open further conversations with characters, while the mirror offers a small amount of perks, such as more dashes for combat, or the ability to avoid death. At first, I wasn't all that impressed with Hades. Sure, the game was interesting, with how organic and diverse it was, but I hadn't cracked into what made Hades so impressive. When it comes to the genre of roguelikes, they force you to learn their systems to progress and are always very intimidating games. But Hades offers not only power-ups through the mirror, but also offers a pretty unique mode called God Mode that makes every trek easier. Every death adds a small defense boost that at first doesn't add up to much, but over time can help with dealing with particular bosses like Theseus and Asterius. The system makes the gameplay accessible to even more people, and without it I would have not have played as far as I have. But the gameplay isn't the only reason I keep coming back to Hades. It's the music and the art style. All of these elements build to create a fantastic combination. The music is incredible, with amazing heavy metal music and slower, more thought-provoking pieces. Music can really help when it comes to getting you into the gameplay, especially fighting the mini-bosses. That's when the heavy riffs really begin to kick in.
Ready, lads? Hey, Meg? Hello there, Dionysus.
Each area has a different tone, from the underworld to the surface. Every area has a different beat to rock to. The art style is gorgeous, with some incredible character designs and animations, down to the smallest detail. Nothing is spared. The game reminds me a lot of Spiritfarer, with a great hand-drawn art style that leaps off the screen. Locations look amazing. Tartarus feels like an imposing prison, while Elysium feels like what people would interpret heaven as, with beautifully lush and vibrant locations, and the fiery underworld of Asphodel, with its rivers of lava and a massive bone hydra at the end. Hades is a goddamn masterpiece and stands as one of the best games of 2020, with incredible gameplay, music and graphics. I know my review came late, but I implore you to get this game as soon as possible.